Last month, when novelist Don Winslow published The Border, the final novel in his best-selling trilogy about America's drug wars, the New York Times said it landed right on the culture's front burner. As much as anyone, Winslow has charted the decades-long link between the power of the drug cartels and the flood of immigrants seeking a new life, and between what the author considers failed policy and countless deaths and ruined lives. NewsHour Weekend special correspondent Jeff Greenfield recently visited Don Winslow at his Southern California home, fittingly not far from the Mexican border.
President Trump's most popular talking points in the last few weeks, the caravans of thousands of Central American migrants headed toward the U.S. southern border.
It has dominated our political debate.
Build that wall! Build that wall!
It helped elect a president.
President Trump, you will not get your wall.
It triggered a month-long government shutdown.
Hey, hey, ho, ho! Shelter's got to go!
And the president has declared it a national emergency.
Because we have an invasion of drugs, invasion of gangs, invasion of people.
It is the toxic mix of Mexican drug cartels, unspeakable violence, caravans of asylum seekers, and a major domestic political fight. Just 40 miles from the San Diego-Tijuana border, in the mountain town of Julian, California, novelist Don Winslow has spent 20 years chronicling the story of the drug wars that have triggered so much of this controversy. The horrific violence as cartels battle for supremacy, the murder of hundreds of journalists and officials that has driven so many on a perilous search for safety. His new novel, The Border, now at the top of many bestseller lists, is the concluding work of a trilogy that was born out of a single 2-decade-old news story.
I remember the date, September 20th, 1998. I get up in the morning and the first thing I do every morning is I look at the newspapers. And that morning in the San Diego Union Tribune, there was a story about 19 innocent men, women, and children slaughtered in a town just across the border because it was thought by the local cartel that one of them was an informer.
That story inspired Winslow to write 2005's The Power of the Dog, chronicling American efforts to battle the rise of a drug cartel led by a thinly fictionalized version of Joaquin Guzman, known better as El Chapo. Winslow thought that one book would be all, but the escalating violence and the escalating efforts by the United States to fight what it calls a drug war kept him returning to the story. He followed with the cartel in 2015, and now, with The Border, Winslow has come to one stark conclusion. What is it about this drug war, about what's going on, that you think Americans most need to know and may not know?
That it's not the Mexican drug problem, it's the American drug problem. We point our fingers, increasingly so with this administration, at Mexico. Oh, those criminals are coming up. Oh, those drugs are coming up. Yes. Why? Because we buy the drugs. If I were standing on the other side of that border, of that proposed wall, I might want to build a wall because something like $65 billion in drug money goes south across that wall to fund basically terrorist organizations that are destabilizing Mexican society, Mexican politics, and the Mexican economy.
America's so-called war on drugs began almost 50 years ago, promoted by presidents from both parties.
America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse.
Drugs are menacing our society. They're threatening our values and undercutting our institutions.
We've had more major drug dealers arrested than in any previous similar time in our history.
For Winslow, most of the efforts to fight this war, the rhetoric of presidents going back decades, the endless photo ops of drug seizures, even the recent conviction of cartel leader Guzman, El Chapo, have been exercises in futility.
And all you have to do is look at the numbers. Since he was captured and recaptured or re-recaptured, the importation of drugs into America has not fallen, it's risen. The number of overdose deaths have not fallen, it's risen.
And as for building a wall to stop the flow of drugs?
If you read the DEA's last 5 annual threat assessment reports, it says right in there what all of us have always known, that 90% or more of the illicit drugs that come through the Mexican border come through POEs, points of entry. There are 52 of them on the Mexican-American border, but 3 that really matter. And most of the drugs come in tractor-trailer trucks right through those legal ports of entry.
And it's at these 3 ports, San Diego, California, Laredo, Texas, and El Paso, Texas, through which an unstoppable flood of drugs flows into the United States every day.
1 every 15 seconds through El Paso, for instance. About 5,000 a day through these ports of entry. So there's no way that you're going to stop and search those trucks unless you completely shut down commerce between the United States and Mexico, which you cannot do because you will wreck the economies of 2 countries.
For Winslow, the whole notion that these travelers crossing the border pose the danger of violence is wrong-headed. In fact, he says most of these people are fleeing the violence of drug cartels, who often recruit children to act as drug mules on pain of death. And he took us to the mountains where many are abandoned by their guides to grapple with literally life-threatening weather.
Looking down at the desert floor, the kind of bitter irony is that the immigrants get dropped off out there, either coming across the mountains where they could freeze to death, or right down there in the desert just a few miles where they die of heat exposure.
Winslow's novels also paint a picture of powerful financial interests in the United States, banks, investment companies, that, wittingly or not, launder the drug profits. And after 2 decades immersed in this world, Winslow has emerged with a blunt, provocative answer to the question, what to do?
Well, I'd legalize drugs.
All of them?
All of them.
Control them? Just let them free market? Does it matter?
Listen, I'd like to see, us talk about any of those possibilities. What I know right now is that what we're doing, treating it as a law enforcement problem or, God help us, a military problem, doesn't work. Every horror story you can tell me about heroin and cocaine and the meth and all of them, right? And I've seen them firsthand, happens while they were illegal. Every one of them. So I think what we need to do is, yes, at least decriminalize, more emphasis on diversion programs, trying to get people treatment. But one thing we definitely want to do is take the profit out of these drugs, because it's the profit that is funding violent sociopaths to the points of billions of dollars a year.